everybody, we are going to be making another Halloween craft, and it's going to be a witch ornament, and we're going to start from scratch and make her, and it'll be the last piece for my centerpiece that I've been working on, and then I'll be able to show you that. And we're going to be making a witch. So we're going to start from scratch and make her, and it's just going to be the witch head. So you're going to start with some tin foil, and all you want to do is make a ball. It's regular tin foil. You can get it pretty inexpensively at the dollar store, so I usually get it there. You just want to make a ball for her head, and don't stress about making it perfect, because this is all going to get covered up, and you can add as you want. If you think you need more, I think that's probably a pretty good size. I'm going to try to smooth it out a little bit, and I'm going to take a piece and I'm going to make her a nose. And I kind of want her to have like a hook nose, so I'll kind of work the foil into roughly the shape that I'm thinking. So here's her nose, and here's her head. Now I'm going to take a toothpick and I'm going to insert it into the nose, and this will just give me support when I attach it to the ball. And I have some hot glue. I'm going to decide where I want the front to be. Okay, I'm going to insert it here because I think this will be a good front of her face. And then I'm going to put a little dab of hot glue just to kind of keep it all together. And this is not something you need to be neat with, because all of this will be covered up. And I'm going to do the same thing because I'd like for her to have a pretty prominent chin. I probably will do that a little bit smaller. It'll just give me a little build-up help when I start putting the clay on. Okay, and this is a pretty rough chin, but it'll give me a little bit of definition, a little something to work off of. So I'll throw a little hot glue on there. This isn't so long, so I don't need a toothpick or anything. Now the other thing I am going to do is, for this one, because we're going to have the traditional witch hat, I'm going to put a long piece of wire in there, and it could be any kind of wire. This one's a pretty thin gauge. I'm just going to twist it, and then I'm going to stick it in there. And this wire is pretty bendy, so it may not be ideal, but it'll work okay. Okay, when I get it about there is where I want it. I'll throw a little more hot glue in there. Gives a little bit of stability. Alright, the next thing we're going to be using is an air dry clay. And there's a lot of different ones available. Paper clay is really nice too. Any clay, air dry clay will work for this. All you're going to start doing is start putting the clay on the head, and all you're going to do is cover it, and you want to keep the clay moist, so follow the directions, but I'll keep it like in a plastic bag. But if you're trying to smooth something, you could throw a little bit of water on there, just keep it damp and moist, and you can smooth it. Now my thought is she's an old craggly witch, so any wrinkles or even cracks are totally okay by me. So just keep working it until you get it all covered. Cover around the nose, make sure all of the foil is covered. Now when you get to the nose, cover it like I have, and then you're going to want to smooth the edges in. Now I'm going to keep working her nose a little bit. And then I'm going to try to give her a little bit more of a hook nose. So I'll work that into there, You just kind of smooth it and just keep working it. Okay. And when you get to, so you can see the chin has kind of taken a little shape. And I can make that a little bit larger too. Give her a little bit more of a prominent chin. Work that in. Okay, now when you start getting to the facial features and stuff like that, this is where you start thinking, okay, she needs kind of like eyebrows and eyeballs and stuff like that. So kind of start building from, oops, here, I'm gonna roll it out a little bit, and this kind of will go from the bridge of her nose over. And I had thought about making eyes separate for her, but I'm thinking that I just want her to have kind of black dead eyes. So I don't think I'm gonna do that, because I have done that in the past where I've just done a ball of clay and I would let that dry. And then see, I've smoothed in that part of the eye. I'm going to do the same on the other side. Okay, and at this point I am going to make a couple of eyeballs, and that's way too big. Okay, and kind of just squish them in there. And then I'll go over again to kind of work the eyes in a little bit more. There's really no right or wrong way to do this. You just kind of play with it and see how it comes together for what you're trying to create, which is the beautiful thing that no two are ever alike. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the bottoms of the eyes to kind of, oops, and close her eyeballs. And you could use clay tools with this. I just usually will use my fingers. Now what I'm going to do around the eyes, because some of that isn't sticking as well as I'd like, I'll take a paintbrush with just a little plain water, just put it on there, and it helps it smooth and stick on there. Kind of moistens it, and then go ahead and smooth it. See, that starts to really run together better. Okay, she's starting to come together, and I've given her a little bit more of a brow because she was a little slope-headed. And I'll do the same with the mouth. I'll kind of give her the look of a mouth. I'm not going to build up a great big mouth. And then, and I think her chin, I think I need her chin to come out a little bit more as well. So I'll just keep building those up with the clay, smooth it in, and then I'll show you what I got. Okay, I've worked on her, her nostrils. I might smooth that one in a little bit more. And her brow is fine, and her eyes are kind of lopsided, which is good because she's no craggly witch. And then I'm going to just make a little piece here and put it right there for her mouth. And then I'm going to smooth it on. And then I'm going to use a little water. And I'll use the back of the paintbrush to kind of smooth it out a little bit more. And then all I'm going to do, I'm going to use a needle tool, but you can use just an actual needle or whatever. And I'm going to just kind of press it into that part that I just attached to kind of give her a mouth. And there's her mouth. And you can define it more if you want, whatever you want to do. So I'll use a little water everywhere and try to smooth anything that I may have where there's definite lines that you could see. And actually the paint will cover a lot of that, but there's some spots that you want to kind of blend in a little bit. Now the next thing that I'm going to do is, because she's going to have a hat, so I don't have to worry about her head that much, is it's air dry clay, so you have the choice of just leaving it to sit out and dry. And you can tell like some parts are lighter than others. like the tip of the nose, that's starting to dry already. And a lot of this is going to crack, which is totally fine also. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in the oven at a low temperature, and I'll put it on, gosh, what is it called? Like some batting or, you know, pillow fluff or whatever, and have it in there, and it'll dry a little bit quicker. I've heard that a dehydrator, a food dehydrator, works very well, but I don't have one, so I've never tried it. We're back and the witch has dried, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to paint her green, and I'm using like a village green, that's what it's called, but use anything that's, well, I wanted to go with a green, so kind of a green in nature. So all I'm going to do is just paint it. And I'm going to paint the entire thing green and just let it dry. And then when it's dry, I'm going to double check it again. Just to make sure, because sometimes it soaks in and you have a couple spots that didn't cover, so I may or may not do a second coat. But it's just plain acrylic paint. Hey everyone, we're back with the next stage of the witch. And all I've gone ahead and done is I painted on some eyebrows, I painted in her eyes just a plain black, and I put just a little bit of red on her lips to just define it a little bit. And I was debating whether or not to do this and this next part, and I decided that I would. I kind of want to bring out some of her wrinkles. You can see her wrinkles, but I want to kind of bring them out a little bit more. And then I was deciding what color to do it with. And I kind of thought her complexion should be a little bit gray and sallow, and she's already green. But I'm going to use like a dark gray, but she's a witch, so I was going to give her a little bit of sparkle. So I'm using like a metallic pewter color. Let me put some in here, and then I'll show you how to do it. I'm using just the paint, and it's a wet brush, and I'm going to just start painting right over her. Make sure I get into some of these cracks and crevices where her wrinkles are. And then what I'm going to do is take a damp paper towel, and then I'm going to start just wiping it all off. So you can kind of see where her wrinkles are. It gives her a little more character instead of being so flat. And then I'm going to do that over her entire face. Okay, I have it all done with the pewter, and I will just set that aside to dry, and that will dry very quickly. But I did forget to mention, the clay that I used is heavier than I thought it would be. I was thinking more paper clay, and this is a little bit heavier, so the very thin wire that I had would have supported the paper clay, but didn't support this clay. So it popped out, so all I did was I drilled, and it was like drilling nothing, and put this, I think it's an eye hook, or an eye screw. I drilled into it, and then I just screwed it right in, and with a dab of glue just to give it a little extra support in case. And that will be, I'll just attach the old wire right back to it, and then it'll be popping out of her hat, but you won't see that because it'll be covered by the hat. We're back to finish our witch. All I've done now is I did paint her eyes again after we put the darkening on there to kind of show off her wrinkles. Now I'm going to just take the wire and I'm going to twist it through, and then I'll twist it around itself on top just for a little security, and I'll twist it back, fold this up a little bit more. So there she is, so you can kind of see the mechanics of that. Now all I've done is I've taken some black felt, it's regular black felt, and I've cut a circle, it's more oval really, and I cut a hole in the middle by cutting it and just finding the middle and cutting it. I've also cut a piece of, like a rectangle of felt. And I couldn't find, I had some black yarn, which I've had forever, and it's always getting in my way, but I can't find it. Which is typical when I need something. So I went digging, and instead, and I probably will find the yarn tomorrow, but instead I found some old trim that I'm thinking I'll use instead. It looks a little scraggly, and it's kind of the look we're going for. And I cut a piece off, and I'm just going to hot glue it on there. And I'm going to do this before I attach her hat. And I'll do a couple pieces, and I'll cut them a little bit longer, only because that way I can cut them shorter after. Kind of give her a haircut if I want. Remember, like always, there's no right or wrong way. There's only the way you're doing it, and it's your project, so you can have it be any way you want. So that's what she looks like, and I kind of even like it without her hat, because she's kind of got that iffy hairline. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take the bottom part of the hat, and we're going to glue that on. Throw a little glue here and there, so it can attach to it. And there's the bottom of her hat. What you're going to do with this rectangular piece is you're going to just create like a cone. Kind of see the way you want it. See how it looks on here. If that's the look you're going for. If you need a little wider on the bottom, shorter on the bottom. Okay, when I think I have it the way I want it, and I think I do, I'm going to put just a dab of glue in here where it starts to come together. Because you're going to have some excess on the bottom where it's pointy like that. So, put another dab there. And then I'm going to trim it. And I'm going to take the hot glue and put it along the bottom rim of the cone portion of her hat. There. And now it's in place. Adjust it if you need while it's still hot. And if you hadn't guessed, we're going to do glitter. So I'm going to take her, and I'm going to take just some white glue, and around the rim of her hat, if I can get the glue started, I have this really fine red glitter, and I'm going to sprinkle it on there just to give her a little bit of color. And then, as always, you want to shake off any excess, and this is pretty fine, so this is going to kind of hang around for a while. And now I'm going to do the same thing around the rim of her hat. There's that, and I think I'm going to do, I'm going to do a couple of stripes around. Hey everyone, here we are with our witch, and you can see the glitter on her hat, and she's been painted and her hair's done, and the only thing left is she needs a couple of like warts or moles on her nose and her chin. And her chin, I would like to have it be like a hairy mole. So I have a couple pieces of fishing line that I painted black, and they're longer than what I need, but I figure they can be trimmed after the fact. And my biggest challenge is going to be getting the mole on there. And I've kind of debated on how best to do it, and I've decided to go with hot glue. And even still, I think it's going to be quite the challenge. So I'm going to take a drip of hot glue like I just had there, and take it off real quick and stick these hairs into her chin. I've got 3 of them. And then I'm going to paint that that glue as soon as it's dry to kind of match her skin. So I've got that there, and I'm going to do the same thing on her nose, but here I'm just going to put a drip on there. I'm not going to I'm not going to put any hair in there. There, that one actually turned out pretty good. Let me turn her for you. So she's got the wart on her nose and the wart on her chin, and I'm going to touch up the paint on the bottom on the chin, and that's it. Then your witch is done, and you can hang her up. And I hope you give it a try. It's a little more involved than some of the other ones that we've done, but it's easy and it's definitely worth it. Remember to rate, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you next time. Happy crafting and happy Halloween!